Hey y'all, it's me, Sky Reynolds. I am trying to gather my thoughts to tell everybody on the YouTube how my gym teacher screamed in my face, screamed in one of my friends' faces, and made everybody do laps because of me. Somebody's mowing their lawn. Everybody who is watching this, some backstory on this certain teacher. Who are we gonna call her? We're gonna call her Miss Straight. Now, Miss Straight has already been fired from one of her previous schools that she worked at before because of things that I'm not gonna talk about. Miss Straight and me were friends for the most part. Through all of my years of middle school, she has been a pretty good teacher to me, and up until this certain point on this day when I sat down in my spot and I was the only one that did, I thought that she was the best teacher there. It was just an average day of me going to middle school. Everything was going fine, but then PE rolls around. And we can tell when everybody walks in, we can tell by the look on Miss Straight's face that she is not having it today. I started thinking in the back of my head like, oh my God, we all have to be on our best behavior. And I wouldn't have thought sitting here right now that it would have been me that would have been the one to set her off. But I mean, I'm the one that set her off that day. Unfortunately, it backfired for the 8th grade, the 7th grade, and the 6th grade, and one of my friends and the rest of my classmates, because I'm about to tell you why. I walk in, I go to the locker room, I get changed. I basically did everything that I was supposed to do, which is why I still to this day do not understand why I'm the one that got detention. So I go out into the gym and it is like a pandemonium of people just like running around. The dudes at my school do this weird thing where they take off their shoes and then they try and like throw it in into like the hoop or whatever. Do guys at your school do that too? We're supposed to come out and we're supposed to like sit in our spots and we can like talk to people around us. People were not doing that this time though. I come out, I'm walking through all this pandemonium trying to like get around people because everybody's going freaking crazy. And I go and say hey to some of my friends and then I'm like, okay, well after I'm done talking to them, I go and I sit in my spot. I sit down, I look around, it's still craziness everywhere. Throwing shoes in baskets and talking to their friends and running around playing tag and literally fighting each other. And I'm just like sitting there with my like legs crossed, like playing with my like nails and stuff while everybody is going insane. And then Miss Straight walks out and she rushes to the microphone. Literally, when I say rush, she goes, rushes to the microphone, turns on like the speakers and stuff, and yells into their microphone, "Sit down!" She goes into this big speech about how none of us listen and we're so ungrateful and we don't do what we're supposed to every single day. One of the teachers there, we have 3 teachers in our like gym period class and one of them was absent that day. So I think that had kind of played into it. Like people were like up running around. I think one of our teachers being absent played into like how people were just running around and acting crazy and thought that they could do really whatever they wanted to. It's just her and another guy. We'll call him Mr. Light. I don't know. So she yells into the microphone, tells everybody to sit down. Everybody's scrambling to their spots. And this is where I messed up. So 4 of my friends finally come and sit in their spots while everybody else is doing that too. And they all sit right, like I'm right here. Imagine I'm right here. They're all like right here, like literally forming a circle around me. And as she's going on about how ungrateful and how blah, 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 this and that and the other, she looks over and she sees all of them not sitting in their spots. I was about to say us, but like I was sitting in my spot and I had been for the entire class period doing what I was supposed to do, except for the time where I went up to my friend, said, hey, whatever. And then I went directly to my spot while everybody else was up running around and she had to yell at them to sit down. So I shouldn't say us. She did yell at me too for whatever reason. Like, she knows that's my spot, so I don't know why she yelled at me. Now she tells us to scoot back, and I don't know why. She was like, y'all scoot back, y'all are too close to each other, this and that or the other. One of my other friends goes, she's like, ma'am, I'm in my spot, which I think, Blake actually, sorry, I just said her name, but I think Blake actually was in her spot. It was the other three that were kind of like clumped together and in their general vicinity area of where they were supposed to be, but they weren't in their exact spot. You know what I mean? After Blake said that, I said, I'm in my spot too. And this is when everybody in the whole gymnasium looks to us. And then she says into the microphone with everybody in the gymnasium's attention on our conversation, Sky, I don't need your back talk. So we're literally having to like yell across to her. So everybody's hearing this conversation. I'm like, I'm in my spot. I don't know why you're telling us to move when we're in our general like spots. After about like a minute of arguing, after us having to yell across the gymnasium to each other and everybody listening to our conversation, that lawnmower. She says, Sky, come up here. I slowly stand up. Everybody watching me, like literally looking me in the face. I'm looking at my other friends who I was talking to before I went to my seat, doing what I was supposed to be doing, might I add. They're just like, oh God, honey. I stand up, I'm walking. It is so quiet. It is just so quiet. Everybody knew that like Miss Straight was like so just full of it that they knew that they were gonna get some kind of consequences because she has some real anger issues, y'all. Y'all think I'm kidding. Walking up, it's so quiet. I sit down. It's like at least like 30 seconds of just awkward silence because she loves to be in like awkward silence for some reason. They're preaching to us like a pastor in church, and then she looks over to, I'm just gonna say his name. She looks over to Ben and she says, Ben, stop rolling on the floor. And then she says, you know what? I've had it with you guys. Everybody, we're gonna go run laps. Come on. She was like, Ben, Sky, you stay here. And she made everybody stand up and go do laps. So not only did she start to directly pick on me, but she started directly picking on Ben too, which I thought was really, really dumb because he had a cast and she was getting on him about how he's lazy and how the cast was fake and everything. While everybody is running their lap, she thinks that this is the perfect opportunity for her to go up to Ben, and she literally screams in his face about how he's lazy and about how she thinks the cast is fake and everything. Really just rude because he had to be in a wheelchair for like the longest time, and I just think it was really like mean for her to like say that and everything and call him lazy. Or keep in mind, he's like right here and they're like there, like hovering over him right in his face, screaming at him, and I'm just like sitting in the front, just like hiding up against the wall. So then she comes over to me. Miss Straight comes over to me. She comes over, she just kind of puts her hands on her hips like this, and she just looks down at me. And I can tell she's just gathering her words, trying to find something to say for her trying to embarrass me in front of the whole like gymnasium, which it didn't work because I had like all of my friends are in that core, so like her trying to embarrass me didn't do a damn thing. She's just like this, and she kind of looks like to the side, and I can just see her mind is ticking. She's trying to think of a good excuse to say because she knew that I was right. She knew that that was my spot. She knew I wasn't back talking her and just trying to correct her and tell her to tell everybody else around me to move because I was in my spot and had been there while everybody else was doing what they weren't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? After she comes up with that excuse, I tell her everything that I just told you guys about how I was in my spot. I was the only one in my spot doing what I was supposed to do while everybody else was up going crazy. I was the only one in my spot in that little group that she saw, so I don't know why I'm the one getting in trouble in all of this, you know? And so after I say that, she just kind of looks down at me. She looks back up. And then she walks away. She walks away to go get a pink slip to send me to the office so I can go explain this whole story to the principal, the vice principal, again. She literally holds the door open for me and I'm like, don't try and be all polite after you just screamed in my face and screamed in my friend's face and screamed at everybody else in the room. Like, are you kidding? Like, you made everybody else do laps because I was trying to say how I was the only one in my spot. Like, because I basically roasted and exposed you in front of everybody. Like, don't try and play nice now. In the office, there are 2 other girls in the office who are always there. They're always getting in trouble, and I'm just like, I don't belong here. So I go back to the vice principal, and like, it's just awkward tensions with like students and principals, y'all. And I had already gotten in trouble a little bit this earlier in the year and like a little bit throughout prior to this moment, so it's just kind of like weird. And I had gotten in trouble a lot after this incident. Oh my god, this was like a whole other incident. I almost got 5 people, myself included, suspended until our 9th grade year. I almost got all of us suspended. Oh, I know, it was 6 because, oh, yeah, I don't want to say her name, but I almost got 6 people suspended until our 9th grade year. That's a whole nother story time. Again, I didn't do anything wrong, but like, the school gods just seem to hate me, and I really do have bad luck when it comes to staying like good at school and stuff. The vice principal, everything that I just explained to y'all about how I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, I was literally in the office going like, clapping my hands, clapping back, Tana Mojo, Simply Nessa, clapping back, telling her like all of the descriptions. So she's sitting there laughing, and I heard the people outside of her like little room laughing too, because I am really going at it trying to tell this story. And she was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna put any of this through because Mrs. Straight gave me like a pink slip. Like, she was trying to get me into some pretty serious trouble, and so she was like, well, I'm not gonna put it through because you were obviously in the right and all that stuff. She said, but you do have to remain here for like the remainder of the class period, just because she didn't want me in the same room as Miss Straight, which was probably a good idea. Like, well, can I change? Like, I'm kind of like in my gym clothes. Like, I'm still in the scene of the crime, like clothes and everything. Like, it's still fresh in my mind. Like, can I go change? She was like, yeah, you can go change, but like, I have to come with you and everything. And I had to like get taken down like a prisoner trying to like go somewhere, like, or whatever. It's so dumb. I go and I change and I like get my stuff and everything, and we walk back, and I kind of just sit in the office for the remainder of the class period. The 2 girls, they're still sitting there like talking about girls becoming pregnant at the high school and stuff like that. And I don't know why they were there. They've probably been there like 10 times that day, because that's just how much they get in trouble. So I really don't know what they were talking about. I was just trying to ignore them, just playing with my nails. And after that moment, after that little incident, I don't think I ever talked to Miss Straight again. I don't think I ever said another peep to her. I don't think I ever even looked in her direction after that incident. Nothing. Because at the end of the day, like, she knew she was wrong. She knew she was wrong. She knew that I was right. I don't know if the vice principal and Miss Straight and Mr. Light had talked about the situation like after school or anything. I know I talked about it with my friends, and everybody in the gym agreed with me, agreed that I was in the right, and that she was just being really unfair because she does have some serious anger issues. I think that's mostly it for the story time. My first like sit down story time. So yeah.